Jurassic World Dominion is out in theaters now and has the envious task of not only trying to cap off the Jurassic World trilogy, but this movie was billed as the culmination of 30 years worth of Jurassic Park history, starting back all the way in 1993. Colin Trevorrow returns to the director's chair for Dominion as he took a break from Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Also, he is joined by stars Chris Pratt, Bryce Dallas Howard. He is also joined by the first time since 1993, all three main legacy characters in Sam Neill, Laura Dern, and Jeff Goldblum. Now, Jeff Goldblum has been in these Jurassic World movies, but like I said, this is the first time that these three have shared the screen together since 1993. And it's a pretty cool moment. Now, something that a lot of fans were looking forward to. And I will say that with this movie, that aspect of the film does work. It's great to see these characters back. Jurassic World does not pull a Star Wars trilogy and not offer up the big three on screen at once. You get plenty of that in this movie, and I feel like they get a lot of appropriate screen time. However, the biggest problem with Jurassic World, in my opinion, is this does not feel like the epic conclusion to 30 years worth of Jurassic Park / Jurassic World history. This feels more like a movie that this should have been, where the franchise, a lot of fans felt like this is where the franchise should have been a very long time ago, with dinosaurs living amongst human beings. They are out in the wild, and we have to figure out how we are going to do this, how we're going to coexist with these animals. And if this wasn't the first movie, this definitely feels, after watching this and recently over on the podcast channel, we did a bunch of reviews for the Jurassic Park movies and Jurassic World all the way up leading to this film. And rewatching all of those, it really feels like Jurassic World and Jurassic World Dominion should have been the first and second movies. Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, I think, is one of easily the worst movies out of this entire franchise. I have nothing really good to say about that movie, and I did that in a podcast review for Matt Goes to the Movies. But this feels like this should have been the sequel to Jurassic World, and then there should be another movie in this, because although I do like Jurassic World Dominion, I know it is not getting the greatest reviews, and a lot of fans think this franchise should lay dormant now and it should be done. I don't necessarily agree with that, but this does feel like this should have been the sequel to Jurassic World and not supposedly the cap off to this 30 years worth of story that we got. That's the biggest problem with this movie, is it really does not end with a definitive conclusion. At the end of this, humans are just living with dinosaurs among the world, and there are some beautiful, breathtaking ending shots that cap off this movie, things that I think look amazing on screen. And that is one of the highest points of this movie, is the visual effects in Jurassic World Dominion. They are 100% top notch, look incredible. There are very little scenes where I felt you could tell, that there was CGI green screen. This is all shot incredibly well with some amazing, amazing dinosaur sequences. One of the other positives that I will give to this movie is I did feel that in this one, the chemistry between Bryce Dallas Howard and Chris Pratt, their characters, was much better. I do feel in those first two movies that they did not have the greatest of chemistry on screen, and it really led to some not believable scenes between the two of them. In this movie, however, I think that works much better, and I do believe that that's because of the addition and the larger role that the Macy Lockwood character plays in this movie, as they have taken to adopting her and they're taking care of her, but she cannot interact with anybody in this world because they are going to try and take her and study her, as one of the main themes of this movie, which I thought worked really well, and it lent to that credibility of their chemistry on screen. That was something that worked really well. One of the things that does not work well about this movie is it does suffer from pacing issues at 2 hours and 26 minutes. There are definitely scenes that drag on. It also does not benefit from its main antagonist at all. Biosyn is the new InGen, the new corporation that's trying to take these dinosaurs, learn from them, turn it into greed and make money. Uh, this does not work in this movie. It is logically not very sound the way that they are destroying human crops as part of this as this story to get them to get the population to use biosyn products, essentially almost killing human beings should they not conform basically to getting this stuff. And why is this happening? They're very just lax when it comes to people being able to expose them. There's a really weird scene towards the end of this movie where they just let one of these characters basically leave with no repercussion. They treat it like they have henchmen and they're like sinister, but again, it doesn't match up with how they just let certain characters go. I will touch on again, though, seeing Dr. Alan Grant, Ellie Sattler, and Ian Malcolm together is a huge win. I had some stupid smiles on my face at certain parts throughout this movie where their characters I thought got a very good amount of screen time for the legacy characters, interacted very well with the new stars, and also interacted very well with each other. It did seem that they had a really good time. I thought they were incredible in this movie together individually in certain scenes that they had. So I really enjoyed their presence. Again, I was very presently surprised at how much screen time they got and how this series did not pull a Star Wars with this, with the new trilogy, with not having Luke, Han, and Leia on screen one last time. I thought that was a big misstep. Fortunately, this movie did not follow that same pattern. But again, the biggest problem with this movie is it doesn't feel like a definitive conclusion. And I like this movie. I actually do. I know it's not getting the greatest reviews, and a lot of, like I said, fans are saying, and critics alike are saying, this franchise just needs to basically go extinct. I did enjoy this movie. Minor pacing issues, but call it maybe nostalgia. Maybe knowing that it does feel like this franchise is going to be put on the back burner for maybe quite some time. So maybe call it nostalgia, maybe call it just realizing that this is the last time maybe we're going to see this franchise for a long time. I might be willing to give it a few more passes than some other fans or other people that have seen this movie and been disappointed. Do I think it is worth watching? Yeah, I absolutely do. There's some strong visuals, some strong character development. The score in this movie, the score that they attach, I am not a huge fan of. And it's only made more evident to me when the old score and old themes kick in. It just makes you realize how well that was done and how they really haven't been able to match anything from the new movies, these Jurassic World, this trilogy. So that is one thing that is like a double-edged sword. The old score, when it kicks in, is amazing. It takes you back. Again, nostalgia. I get goosebumps hearing that in the theater when I went and saw this. But it also makes the new score just stand out even more as not being as epic and not giving you that same feeling in certain moments. Overall, though, I would recommend Jurassic World for viewing. If you have not gone, maybe check it out depending on where you are. On a matinee, go see it for a cheaper price. But this is something that I do believe you should see on the big screen in theaters to get the full effect. So that's going to do it for this review. Thank you very much for listening. If you like this review, click the links below, subscribe to the show. I look forward to bringing you many more reviews in the coming weeks.